Welcome back, everyone, to the video. Today we are back for another NFL video. Today we're going to be doing the defensive tier list. Recently we did the offensive tier list, which you guys really seem to like. So first off, thank you guys for all the support on that video, along with my most recent, I think, upload in general, but either way, if it's not my most recent Madden video, that has like 1,400 views in like a very short amount of time for my channel. So thank you guys for all that. I really appreciate all the support there. And if you guys are new around here, be sure to hit the subscribe button for more NFL and Madden videos. But today, like I said, is a defensive tier list. Last time we did the offensive tier list. This is our pre-draft tier list of teams going into next season. So we did our offensive one before the draft. Today it's our defensive one before the draft. After the draft, we'll do offensive again and defensive again going into the next season. The next ones after the draft, I'm probably going to wait till around, I think, June maybe. I don't know. Maybe we have some more kind of input on like where all these kind of questionable players are, like people that we don't really know about yet, like Rodgers, even though he says he's going to the Jets, hasn't been done yet as far as the two teams go. Lamar is still kind of up in the air and stuff like that, and Odell too. So hopefully that'll all be figured out by the time we do our post-draft tier list. But for right now, this is a defensive tier list, starting off with the Houston Texans. I'm going to come over here to rank these teams. So Texans, actually, I am pretty hopeful for. They did make some good moves in the offseason in general, whether it's defensive or offensive. I think the biggest, or at least one of the biggest, was probably getting DeMeco Ryans as their new head coach, who is a defensive-minded coach. So that should help out their defense a lot. I want to say they got a new defensive coordinator as well, which I think overall is going to just really benefit Derek Stingley, because he was pretty good last year in a defense that didn't really complement his skills that well. I think they ran a lot of zone on him, and he's a great man corner. So hopefully with this kind of new defensive change, he'll be able to really kind of become who he probably will be and should be. Jalen Petrie, again, is a really good safety for them, and he had a good season as well. I can't really see myself like okay, what is going on? Okay, there it is. I can't really see myself like putting the Texans super high up on offense or defense, because quite frankly, I don't think they're going to be that good. But I do think that this season is finally the first season where they're going to be going in a positive direction. At least, in the past few years, it's going to be the first positive step. So I'm going to still put them in, like, I think probably C for defense. But I do think that they are going to be continuing to get better. And next is the Patriots. The Patriots defense is actually, I think, pretty darn good. I think most people would agree with that. Their offense is not great, but their defense, they got Matt Judon. They have Marcus Jones, who has been very, very good. And overall, I think their defense just, it won them games. I mean, it sure won them games last year. Marcus Jones, ran the punt back. I guess it's, special teams, but still, when the offense can't make plays, other parts of that team steps up, and that is definitely defense, and that is definitely special teams. So I think the Patriots defense is quite good. I remember last year I thought them losing J.C. Jackson was like a huge hit, and that was not true at all. And he didn't really help out the Chargers either, which is unfortunate. But Patriots defense, I gotta put an A. I think they have an absolutely great defense. Rams, I don't think so. I'm just going to tell you straight up. I don't think they're going to be that good next year. I think their championship window obviously has closed, but they, walked away with one, which is all you can ask for. I just think now it's kind of sliding down. They lost Jalen Ramsey. They still have Aaron Donald, but how much can he really carry the entire defense? I don't really know. I'm going to put them in C as well. I'm going to try to put anybody in D unless it's like really, really bad. But honestly, I don't think there are any C or I guess D defenses. I felt bad last video. I put the Texans in D offense, and it was the only team down there. So I'm going to try and keep everybody in C and above, but we'll just see what happens. Buccaneers defense. Buccaneers, Falcons, Panthers, and Saints. I'm just going to kind of spoiler alert here. None of them are going to be in A. B at the absolute highest for offense or defense. The entire division is just terrible. The Buccaneers are officially going down, especially with Brady losing. Or leaving, not losing. Apparently he never loses, unfortunately, being a Panthers fan. But yeah, so their defense, it is very solid. I think I always get Devin White and Levante David confused, but I'm pretty sure it's Levante David who it sounds like is going to be leaving the Buccaneers, which is, pretty big loss for them at linebacker. He's definitely very solid, good veteran piece for them. I think Sean Murphy-Bunting is still there. I can never remember if he left. I always think he did, but then I remember he didn't. So honestly, I'm going to keep it real. I cannot remember if he's there or not. But yeah, other than that, I'm just going to put him in C. I don't think there's anything really stand out about them or the Panthers or the Falcons or the Saints. Just kind of how it is. Cardinals are an interesting team because their roster looks so much better on paper than they perform. Defense, there's not a lot there. They lost, I think, Byron Murphy to the Vikings. So, that's not great. He's like one of their best corners. I honestly don't even know who their other corners are now, so that's a big loss for them. I feel like the Cardinals, other than that, I honestly don't even know if there's any other standout players on that defense, come to think of it. So I'm going to put them in C because I feel like if I have the Texans in C, who, again, don't have a lot of defensive stars, I got to put the Cardinals there. I can't put them below that, but maybe you guys would. Let me down below. Maybe I'm wrong there. Next is the Titans. You have Jeffrey Simmons, but sometimes it sounds like the Titans GM is ready to just blow up the entire roster and rebuild, with like them shopping Derrick Henry at one point. So as of right now, they still have their big defensive piece in Jeffrey Simmons. I believe they still have Harold Landry as well, and Kevin Byard too. So will they be there post draft and later on? I don't know. As of right now, they are. So I am going to put them probably in C, I guess. I feel kind of dumb doing this, but to be fair, this is a really weird order of teams where I feel like a lot of the not good ones are kind of in line right now. So it'll get better in a little bit here, trust me. Saints, again, I'm just not high on any team in the NFC South. I mean, even as a Panthers fan, I might put them in. Honestly, hold on, we'll get there. Saints defense. So Cameron Jordan, of course, is very good. Tyrann Mathieu. I don't honestly know how he played. I just know he's kind of on the second half of his career last year, and just hasn't overall been great. He's just kind of been slowly regressing. And other than that, I mean, their defense does not stick out to me as one that really I don't know, wins them games. I think their offense wins them more games because you have guys like Alvin Kamara and Taysom Hill that can really just do it all, and that really helps them out. And Dalton had a solid year last year. Chris Olave, very good. Defense, I don't think is really there, so they're also going to go and see. And then Panthers, I might be a little biased here, but they have J.C. Horn, they have Brian Burns, and they have Derek Brown. Three very good players. Jeremy Chin is also up there, but because of the defensive change, he had to play more safety, which he just isn't good at. It's just not what he does. He's more of a sub linebacker type hybrid. But with their new defensive coordinator, Chin is going to return to that role. I think he'll be much better next year. And overall, I think the Panthers defense is going to be pretty good. So I'm actually going to put them in B. Maybe I'm just a little biased, and you guys are going to be like, oh, you can't have them over the Titans. And okay, you know what? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just a casual. Who knows? But you know what? I have a lot of faith in that Panthers defense. I think they're going to be pretty good. Falcons are going to go and C because they have zero defensive line. Like, they have no one on that defensive line. I don't know if they signed anyone and I missed it, but I don't think they really did. I mean, they have A.J. Terrell, who is very, very good. But other than that, I mean, their defensive line it's non-existent. So I got to put them in C. Not really a lot going on there. Colts defense, not terrible. You have Shaq Leonard, but you did lose Stephon Gilmore, who I feel like is, still playing some good football. I think that's a big veteran loss for him. They have Kenny Moore still. I kind of just want to put them in C, and I feel like this looks really bad because I'm just like putting every team like the mid category except for the Panthers and Patriots. Oops. But it will definitely go up again. I'm just going to put them in C for right now. Again, at the end, I might go in and change all this around stuff. Just stay to the end in case I do that. Or skip to the end. Whatever you want to do. Just don't start, bashing me now. Washington, you have Chase Young that should be back and healthy, so that'll be a huge help for you. Overall, though, I feel like Washington is more just, I don't know, I want to say offensive, but their defense is strong. I mean, Deron Payne's contract, is a pretty big one, and, guys, when you're a defensive tackle like that, are going to get paid, and he is a very good player. So you have him, of course, too. You have Chase Young. But again, I feel like they're more kind of focused on offense right now just because of the question at quarterback. So defensively, I am... Guess again. Yeah, I'm going to put him in C. This looks stupid, I know. But, yeah, honestly, not really much else to talk about there. Ravens, though, finally a good defense I can talk about now that that kind of stretch is over. Ravens did a lot on defense since they're not going to pay Lamar or give him any usable weapons. They got Roquan Smith from the Bears, who was very good and is very good. They have Patrick Queen still. They lost Calais Campbell. I don't think it's going to be too big of a loss. It's still big enough to where he's a huge veteran piece and he's just, huge for stopping the run. But the Ravens defense, if anything will ever be consistent about that team, it's going to be their defense. Their defense will always be tough. That's just how they are. They have Marlon Humphrey, then they have Marcus Peters. Great defense, in my opinion. I'm going to put them in A. I think their defense is very good. It's what keeps them in games. Obviously, divisional games are usually pretty competitive because it's so hard to scheme against guys you play 2 times a year and know so well. But they play the Bengals, who are, in my opinion, the best team in that division, very, very well. And for, in my opinion, a offense that's way better than their offense, that means they can't outscore them. So they got to slow them down. And every time they play, they are able to do that. And it's huge for them, and it gets them wins, not just against the Bengals, but other teams outside the division as well. So I really like the Ravens defense. They're going in A. Raiders defense, you got Max Crosby, who's really just the face of that defense. Overall, I think the Raiders have a lot of holes on their roster. You have holes at corner. You have some at offensive line. You have some at quarterback. But, you got Garoppolo. So, maybe, I don't know, maybe he'll kind of be consistent for you. Who knows? But the Raiders defense is, and you still have Chandler Jones, of course, as well. I'm going to put them in B. That might be a bad ranking considering some of the other teams I have in C. I'm just going to leave it there for right now. Packers defense, you got Quay Walker, who looked honestly pretty promising his rookie year. You still have Jair Alexander, of course. And the Packers defense, in my opinion, I thought was pretty good last year. I don't honestly know how they're really regarded across the league. But going into next year, I think obviously the huge focus on Jordan Love and none is on the defense. But I think that defense is staying pretty much the same, in my opinion. And you still have Kenny Clark. So I'm going to put the Packers defense in B. I think they have a pretty good defense. It definitely helps them out a lot to stay in games, especially next year when you have, kind of a question mark on Jordan Love. But in my opinion, like I talked about in the offensive video, I think Jordan Love is going to be quite good. But either way, over the Browns have had a very sneaky, quiet, good free agency. I know D-line was or D-tackle specifically, was a bit of an issue for them. I know they think they have 2 defensive tackle signings, so you got that. You got Myles Garrett. Their secondary is a little questionable, which makes me kind of want to put them in C, but I'm trying to think if Myles Garrett, that D-line, can carry them into the B category. I'm going to put them in C. That one might get changed at the end as well, so just, I guess, stay tuned for that. Bears defense, they lost Roquan Smith. I believe they lost Robert Quinn as well. But you still have Eddie Jackson, who I think got hurt last year. I know they have a good corner too, and I can't think of his name, so that's going to look really bad. But, it is what it is. Bears defense does not stick out to me just because of Justin Fields. He just kind of is the highlight of that entire team. And I think they've really tried to go out and get their offense to be better to compete. So defensively speaking, I don't think a whole lot has really changed. And last year they did struggle to kind of, defend in general, especially over the top. So I'm going to put them in C as well, which just, yeah, I know. Let me hear it in the comments. Next is the Broncos. Okay, Broncos defense is very, very, very good. You got Pat Surtain, who is just one of the best corners in the league, which is crazy because I had a feeling, I thought he was going to be good. I think a lot of people did, but I didn't think he was going to be this good this quickly. And I remember last year there was some stat, if it was if the Broncos offense would have scored at least 18 points in all their games at one point, they would have been 8 or 9-0, which is crazy. So their defense is definitely A. I kind of want to put them in S, but I'm just going to leave them in A for right now. Steelers defense, A or S. I'm just going to put them in A. Their defense is always so, so good. Oh, wait, I actually changed the order there. I mean, TJ Watt is just ridiculous. To watch him, leap up in the air and intercept the ball, that is unbelievably hard to do. It makes it look so easy where you're like, oh, wow, more guys do that. But you mean the timing and concentration to do that while getting blocked and read the correct eyes and be able to react that quickly is just absolutely absurd. It really is absolutely absurd. The Steelers went out and got Cam Sutton from, I believe, the Lions, which is a nice corner piece for them. And then, of course, you have Minkah Fitzpatrick as well. So Steelers defense, definitely A tier. Their offense struggled last year, and their defense kept them in games and really won them games sometimes as well. So they're going in A. Giants defense, You got Kayvon Thibodeau, which I think was a good, I think it was a good draft choice. He was quite good last year for them. Other than that, I think their offense kind of helped them stay in games, but I don't know. I go back and forth. The Giants are a weird team to rank in my opinion because they do play very solid. I feel like there's not a lot of standout guys on that team as a whole because you really just kind of have Saquon and you have Daniel Jones and I mean now you have Darren Waller on offense, but I don't feel like the defense gets talked about a lot, and I'm not super high on their defense. But one thing to note is that they're in a very good division now, oddly enough, and they're able to win games. So clearly, their defense is good. Honestly, I don't have a whole lot to say about them. I'm going to just put their defense, I think, in C tier. I don't think they. I think they need more in the secondary, more than the D line and linebackers go. So we'll leave them there. Seahawks. I feel like I gotta put the Seahawks in A tier, right? I mean, I don't have any in S yet, which might be an issue. I might have to move some up to S. But Seahawks, I mean, their defense is incredible. I mean, you draft Tyreek Woolen, you draft Kobe Bryant, who are both rookies and, asked to do a lot in that defense, and they were, pretty good. And they signed Bobby Wagner back, who, of course, no matter how old he gets, is going to be a solid linebacker piece. Like, guys like that are just, I mean, they're just guys like that, you know what I mean? They're always going to be very, very good for you. So, Bobby Wagner back home, how good their corners are is really just crazy, especially with how young they are. And then, of course, you have, I know they signed someone or not signed. I know they drafted a defensive tackle last year as well, who I think was pretty good, but I can never remember his name. But yeah, overall, Seahawks, definitely A tier defense. Cowboys, I want to put an S tier defense. I think our first one in S tier. Their defense is just absolutely incredible. I mean, you have guys like Micah Parsons. Trayvon Diggs gets kind of clowned on a lot, and sometimes it's deserving. But last year, I feel like he did take a huge step. I know 2 years ago, so 2021, he gave up like 1,000 yards in coverage. So like, yeah, his picks look nice, but he kind of gave up a lot of that to try and just jump routes. Last year, I think he cleaned that up a lot. So I think he is much better. I think he's more consistent overall. Like I said, they have Micah Parsons. They signed Stephon Gilmore. I think it's a big signing. Like Stephon Gilmore is still playing pretty good football in my opinion. So that's big. They have Jaron Curse. Yeah, I think they're a great defense. Definitely S tier. Next is the Bills. And I struggle with the Bills defense. I'm going to put them in B. I want to put them in A. They had a lot of injuries last year, and for whatever reason, it's like the same as their offense. Their offense, they don't execute sometimes. Like their defense last year or last season in the playoffs against the Bengals was absolutely terrible, and just overall in the second half of the season was awful. I mean, in the playoffs against the Dolphins, you let a seventh round quarterback nearly beat you, which is just you can't do that. The Dolphins did have one defensive touchdown, but you cannot let Skylar Thompson do anything on you. And I know a lot of it was just really good coaching, but you got to have more than that. They have Jordan Poyer back, though. That's big. They'll have Micah Hyde back. I almost said Micah Parsons. Micah Hyde back off injury. That'll be huge for them as well. I'm going to put them in B just because I feel like the Bills are starting to kind of shake a little bit, and I'm a little iffy on them going into next year. Chargers defense had a ton of injuries last year. J.C. Jackson was hurt. Joey Bosa was hurt. I don't know if J.C. Jackson is really that great. I think he was more of a system corner. That might be a hot take. I'm not really sure. Maybe it was just injuries that caught up to him last year and made him have kind of a bit of a bad year. Asante Samuel, absolutely incredible. I'm just going to put the Chargers defense in, I think, B tier. I don't know. Sometimes it's just weird only ranking one side of the ball, not teams overall. When you have like the Panthers up in B, they should just not be there. But I'm gonna put the Chargers in B for right now. This might get changed at the end, like I've said several times now. Jets defense, that is going to go in A tier. I think it's really incredible just how good Sauce Gardner is. I mean, coming into the league and instantly being one of the best cornerbacks in the league is just really incredible. That and they have DJ Reed, who again is another huge corner for them. I like the Jets defense. The Jets defense is, again, one of those defense that single-handedly won them games last year. Like, just really kept them in games when Zach Wilson could not do a single thing, even though, he doesn't think he let the defense down. So, quote of the year, I guess. But yeah, Jets defense, definitely A tier. Vikings defense is not very good. I'm going to put them, I think, in not D. I'm going to put them, I think, in C. Their defense is just rough. I mean, you have Harrison Smith, who is good. You lost Eric Kendricks, who is, declining. but you have no secondary. You have a pretty good D line, but you have no secondary, and that showed when you were trying to stop the Giants in the playoffs last year. And I just thought of a few more things I want to change. So at the end, I will change this just so you guys know. But yeah, so Vikings defense, you can go C tier. Lions defense last year struggled a lot, but they did. I think I said the Steelers signed Cam Sutton. I think the Lions signed Cam Sutton. I just realized that. I think I had that backwards. That is my bad. Lions defense, I think I want to put in B. I think they're going to take a big. I think the Lions as a whole are take a big step next year, including that defense. Aiden Hutchinson was absolutely great for them last year. Jeff Okuda actually played pretty solid, so hopefully, with injuries out of the way, he can really become that corner that they really thought he was going to be. I'm gonna put the Lions in B tier. Jaguars are interesting because I think their offense is what has the spotlight on them. Their defense is very solid. I didn't hear a whole about Trayvon Walker last year. I don't know how great he is. Maybe he just needs more time to develop. I don't really know. I don't think their defense is anything super special. So I'm going to put their defense in, I think, B. I think it's just kind of the middle of the road. I wouldn't say it's C tier, but I don't think it's, A or anything like that either. So we'll put them in B. Eagles defense, I'm not going to lie to you, has taken a lot of hits in free agency. I mean, you've lost a lot of guys. You lost C.J. Gardner-Johnson. You lost the defensive tackle, who now, of course, Javon Hargrave. I almost couldn't think of his name. So you lost some big centerpieces on that defense. You re-signed the dude that held the Super Bowl. I'm not sure why I'm blanking on everybody's name today, but, why I cannot think of James Bradbury. Jeez, I am so awful right now. But, so you got him back at least. I'm going to put them in B. I would have them in A or S, but because of their losses, I think it is going to hurt them. So I'm going to put them in B tier. Dolphins defense, I want to put in... No. I want to put in A, I think. I mean, they had struggles last year, especially on the D-line, but you signed Bradley Chubb. That was a huge help. And now you go and you get Jalen Ramsey, who... I know he's getting older, but he's still a great corner. He's one of the top corners in football still. Who knows how that'll be next year, but in my opinion, I think he's one of the best corners still. Xavier Howard's still there as well. I like the Dolphins defense a lot. I'm putting them in A. 49ers defense has to be S. Their defense is absolutely unstoppable. If it wasn't for Brock Purdy getting hurt, I think they at least give the Eagles a game. I don't know if they win, but they definitely give them a game. But you have so many playmakers on the defense, it's insane. You have Fred Warner, you have Nick Bosa, who are two all-pro players, and you have them on the same side of the ball on the same team. Just absolutely incredible. So they're going in S. Bengals defense, I think B or A. I'm going to put them in A. I think the Bengals defense is really good. I mean, you have Mike Hilton. You have Cameron Taylor-Britt, who I think is going to be very, very good. I think he was a rookie last year, and he was quite good. I think he's going to be very good. I know I said 3 times in one sentence, but if you watch his tape, he's very athletic. I think he's pretty tall for a corner. He had a huge breakup against the Bills in the playoffs last year as well. I think he's very good. You still have Sam Hubbard on the D-line. You have Trey Hendrickson on the D-line. That's huge for you. And hopefully you don't have Eli Apple again, who I know he's pretty good statistically, but he's just too inconsistent and he talks too much. And it's just, I don't know. I don't like Eli Apple. I'm not a fan of him. I think the Bengals can definitely do without him. I know they signed Nick Scott in the postseason, who was a corner piece for them. And they had they re-signed Jermaine Pratt as well, who again is a big piece of that defense for them. So I'm going to keep them in A. Chiefs are going to put an A as well. It's obviously not quite as good as their offense, but they had several rookies on defense last year that were asked to do a lot, and they really performed. They won a Super Bowl. So I like Jalen Watson a lot. I like Chris Jones a lot. I think the defense is very good. I'm going to keep them in A. But to move some things around here, now that I'm looking at it. So I am going to move some teams down to D. I think C is a little too stacked. I think I'm going to move the Cardinals down to D, and I want to move the Giants up to B. I'm going to move the, let's see. I'm just going to cut out me thinking, and we'll get to me actually moving things around. All right, let's see. So I'm going to also move the Rams down to D. I think they are just honestly very bad. I'm going to move the Saints up to B. I think even though the division is very mid, the Panthers don't deserve to be the only team in B. I mean, Saints have Lattimore. I think they're honestly better than I gave them credit for initially, but I don't know. Still not a lot there, but I want to kind of fill up or get rid of some of the teams in the C category. So I want them to move. They're definitely one of the top teams I had in the C category. Um, Titans. No, I don't know about that. Let's put a few more teams in S. We'll move Broncos up to S. We'll move Steelers up to S. We'll move Bills to A. We'll move Raiders down to C. Just because their secondary troubles. And speaking of secondary troubles, Washington. But you know what? You got Deron Payne, you got Chase Young. We'll move them to B. If they can get a secondary piece, we'll move them to B. Um, I like this a lot. The way this looks a lot better. So we'll do this. I think I like my top four. Or should I make a top five defense thing? Should I move another defense up there? Maybe Dolphins. Like this. Should I do that or should I leave them in A? I don't know. Okay, here. This is what I'll do. I'll move them back down to A, and you guys let me know down below if the Dolphins belong in S or if anybody else belongs in S. But this is the tier list we will stick with. I had a little questionable along the way. I know I messed up with Cam Sutton, so that was my bad. I got that completely backwards. But looking as a whole now, I think this looks a bit better. It's just, a lot of it's a little hard to do this before draft, because you don't know who they're going to draft. You don't know if there's going to be any trades. So going into the next year. So just as of right now, this is what I would say as for the defense. I definitely like the way this one looks a bit better here. So that's going to do it for the video, though. Let me know down below any issues you guys have with the tier list. I'm sure plenty of you have plenty of issues with it because that's just how it goes whenever you rank teams and stuff like that. I definitely like how I have it right now a bit more than how I had it before. But yeah, that's going to do it for the video. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe. I would really appreciate that. I do Madden and NFL videos. Madden, we do gameplays. We have a No Money Spent series. We do pack openings, and we do new promo news, all that kind of stuff. NFL videos, we do NFL tier list videos. We do NFL quiz videos. And we do NFL week picks whenever the season's going on, all that kind of stuff. So draft's ramping up, 3 weeks away. Should be a lot of fun. I can't wait to do the tier list after that as well and just talk about all that kind of draft news whenever that's coming around. So thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate it. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.